I know a lot of you contributed to this. We got a lot of interest in, and we've been talking about this for well over a year, this kind of SEO, the AEO. We've been working with a private equity firm that didn't think this was important in June. And then about a month and a half ago, they said, oh, this is actually important, even though we have B2B clients. They said, we need a basic presentation from you. We created this. They showed it to them. They really liked it because it's really basic. And they're setting up a conference call with, I think, like 30 of their CEOs. So I want to walk through this right now. We've sent it out a bunch of times. You may have seen it already here, but it really is to just center, and it's aimed at helping the executive understand the basics of what's going on here. And Alden and Rosemary on the call contributed a lot to creating this. So let's get back to the front, and I'll walk through it. I'll walk through it, and then we can have some questions at the end. So this take up 10 minutes to walk through it. So answer engines. And what we're talking about here is a massive shift in the digital marketing world because of things like ChatGPT. And we'll talk about four things. What is happening? So what? What are the implications here? Where is this going? And what should we actually do this quarter about it here? Lots of different terms: search engine optimization, answer engine optimization, generative AI engine optimization, AI SEO. They all mean the same category at the highest level. I know some people think there's technical definitions here. In this report, we'll use answer engine optimization just to keep it consistent. In traditional Google search, last 30 years, you put a short phrase in and you get a search result. So there's search engines. And there's a whole new class of things like ChatGPT or answer engines. You're putting in what you're looking for and you're getting an actual answer. And here's a real good example. In the left is a search engine, best place, I forgot to buy a new car in Boston. And lo and behold, it comes back with our familiar blue sponsor links. So Carvana spent the most, and Mazda spent the second most. And CarMax spent the third most. I still don't know what it is here. So that's a search engine. And over on the right, with the same prompt in ChatGPT, best place, buy new car in Boston. So exact same prompt, even missing the two. It comes back with one specific answer. Now we can debate how it got to the answer here, but it comes back with the answer, a very specific dealer. ChatGPT's material now, we talk about this many different calls. It's the fifth highest traffic website in the world and growing quickly. This is from back in May, but more people go to use ChatGPT, that website, than Wikipedia or Reddit or X or WhatsApp. In response, Google has two major initiatives. One is, we've probably all seen these AI overviews. So this is when you put in what are the top three laptops, and the AI overview goes through and summarizes it based on its determination of what the overview is for you. So it's not showing you search results, it's showing you a quick summary with some punch-out links. And the second thing, Google's come up with the AI mode. Basically, their Gemini ChatGPT equivalent, where you can actually put it in there here. And one of the things that's happening here, it's Google, because for a bunch of reasons, is making it harder to leave Google Island. So when the user goes there and starts asking questions, fewer and fewer people get punched out either on advertising or click-through rates here for a variety of reasons, mainly because they need to keep the revenue. And what's happening is we're also getting different answers for it. So here is the same question. What is the best sustainable baby diaper? Name one and explain the reasoning here. And I put it in the chat, GPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Gemini, and Mistral. And, three of them said Bamboo Nature. One of them said diaper with a Y. And one said healthy baby certified safe thing. So here, the customer is putting in their need, baby sustainable database, and getting a different answer from these different engines here. And that's starting to create different kind of ecosystems, or I'm calling them islands here, and they're growing rapidly here. And the interesting is, once you go on one island, you may never leave that island, or you may leave that island and go to a website and never go to Google. One of the things that we realized in our conference this year that These answer engines like ChatGPT are directly sending people here. So here, back in was July or something, if you asked, some conferences in Boston, they named our conference GAI World 2025 and put a click on it, a web link. And I don't web link out of ChatGPT, but a handful of people do, and you actually see it in our web traffic reports. So we use Wix for our conference website, and 13 visitors came from ChatGPT. So we're actually seeing ChatGPT and also a handful, one, I guess, from Gemini. So they're actually sending traffic to websites. They also introduced its own browser. We mentioned earlier that Perplexity did and Amazon sued them. If you haven't used Atlas, it's very interesting, and we talked about that a few weeks or so. And we've got things like Walmart doing a big deal with OpenAI. With OpenAI is going to allow customers to shop Walmart's product via their API chatbot here. So really uh, a lot of activity going on and a lot of disruption in a very um, kind of monopolistic industry, been there for the last 30 years. Well, so what? Well, it's a big so what for some. Hague is a company that sued Google for traffic. They had a 49% drop in their organic non-subscription traffic from January 2024 to January 25. And it publicly stated that Google's answer engine kept students on Google instead of Hague. And they filed a lawsuit. And on Monday, 2 Mondays ago, they laid off 49% of the people. So they're going to get delisted soon. They're going to get sold for scraps. And they, at one point, were worth, I think, 12 billion. And I think when OpenAI came out with ChatGPT 3.5, they were worth 3 billion. They're worth less than $100 million now. TripAdvisor, very popular B2C. It's now been downgraded by one of the Wall Street analysts because of AI-driven search features that are cutting into their click-throughs. So these are real, material issues for these companies here. And it's not just the B2C ones. We're also seeing a B2B. Web traffic's fallen in half at this Business Insider and Washington Post. Those are publications. Monday.com lost billions in market cap one day, in part because of lower click-through rates on what they were seeing in Google. We've heard anecdotally some companies that were spending $100 to $200 per customer acquisition that has now gone up to $300 or $400. It's made their web property not profitable. This is a Thomas Net. It's a MRO sourcing site, and it's 80% decline in things. So what was theoretical 12 to 18 months ago is material for some, not all, for some companies this year. And when you start dropping, 30, 40% of the traffic on your website and you're sensitive to that, this is real material business. Rosemary or Alden or anyone else have other examples they want to share?
Well, I have an example, but I'll let you go ahead and finish.
Okay. So where's it go? Go ahead, Ian.
I have an example, but it would take a little while. So maybe next time or something like that.
Okay, great. Yeah, let me know. Love to. This is really important. We had a lot of questions about this. So early adopters starting to achieve some measurable impact with these emerging set of tactics. Where it's going, I think we're all speculating, but certainly we've seen a drop in click-through rates this year. I think big question, we're going to see as big a drop next year. And I think where these things are going, particularly when you start seeing these agents, we're getting more. If a year ago we were barely talking about agents and trying to figure out if they're going to be adopted much, and 12 months later, and certainly I think many others were surprised how quickly they've been adopted. Does that mean a year from now, 2 years from now, we really are going to see a lot more, maybe it starts on the B2C side, consumer-oriented agents looking for the best price or the best product or the best delivery or the best trade-in value here. And that could really transform stuff very quickly here. So what? So what should we do? And we're leveraging Rosemary's framework here. Assess where you are, create a learning process, structure your content for machines, talk to machines and not just humans, and track and adapt. And these are 12 simple ones that we've come up. I know the folks in the call probably have some even better ones than this, but put your brand in leading answer ends and see if they recognize it. I like using chathub.gg for executives to put their top product in, and get 6 answers like you saw earlier for the baby diapers. Ask it if she'll work for the company here. Ask if the company's reputable, and it's usually pretty shocking what comes back here. Sign a point person, educate teams. Certainly, a handful of us think it's a reasonable thing. At least start with some low dollar, zero risk projects. One of which is adding, and this is from Alden, I think was initially advocating this, putting 15 frequently asked questions on your homepage. And Rosemary and others have been saying also making sure you got a JSON schema for that as well. So you're speaking a robot to that. And then start tracking where you're going and how this is changing over time. And start monitoring there's a lot of Profound as a company's raised $20 million. There's another handful. This has raised 5 to 8 million. I think we're going to see a lot more money raised and a lot more consolidation on these different monitoring and optimization tools out there. So that is the overview. But Rosemary or Alden or others with other suggestions on tactics or things people should know? Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
You put up at the very end there some kind of monthly something or another related to.
Oh,
thank you.
yeah, I was trying to get commercial. Yeah, so we have we kicked off a private AEO peer club, so peer call. So November 21st at 3 o'clock for directors and VPs of SEO are welcome to attend. We've got 6 signed up already, and it's just to start sharing notes on this. I am finding that what I'm finding in general, half the people aware of this. Most people don't have any kind of activity around it, and a lot of them are already overwhelmed with vendor calls in there. I mean, I think there's like 30 companies now trying to do GEO. So that's in 3 weeks. So that's what that was, Christina.
You mentioned that you could sign up. Do you have a link for that?
No, just send me an email. Yeah,
Okay.
send me. Yeah, and it's right now. It's not open to vendors. It's open to directors of. So we have like a director of SEO, a director of performance management, a VP of marketing's coming. So we're right now just starting with folks on the users. But if you know folks with those titles, definitely reach out to me. Others?
Well, I can go, Paul, if you want.
Yeah, please. Yeah, Rosemary, you're sitting on a wealth of experience. So
So do you
teach
mind
us
if I
newbies,
share? I apologize for having kept share going. I didn't realize it was still live. So we're all in the same boat where we never built websites for answer engines. So one of the fastest, there's 2 fast things that you can do. And the first one is to build what we call a fact sheet. And it's basically a page that answers as many questions about your services that you can. So on this page, I'm answering 16 different questions that people ask about our services. And so the reason I know that that is likely working is because I posted that just before I went to Boston to the conference. And all of a sudden, when I started to query what does to the web offer, I started to see different language, and it was pulling from quick facts from that page that I just showed you. But what I'm starting to see, this is a report I create in my analytics that shows AI traffic by source. And so the traffic has started to spike, and the only thing that I did was that page. But the other very cool thing was that I added Alden's custom GPT to the page to my site. And so now when I ask, sorry? So when I now ask a question like, what are the services that To the Web offers, it's now going to, and this is like so awesome. It's pulling just from my website all the answers. And so instead of just somebody doing a keyword search, they're now getting complete answers, including links. And where this is coming from, at the bottom of Alden's tool, it tells you where it got that result. so you can click through to it. That's a weird response.
Rosemary,
And then the,
oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
John here, and do the robots read the data that's in custom GPT? I mean, in
In the FAQ, yes.
yes.
Yes. And you
Okay.
can tell, you can do a quick check by just going into your FAQ and taking a sentence, put quotes around it, drop it into search, Google search. And if it's returning your page, you know that it's indexable. So the other really fast thing to do is, as we talked about a moment ago, put some FAQs, important FAQs on your homepage. And just by doing those two things, you're going to see a difference. Thank you. You're on mute, Paul.
Good. I just want to say nice things. I was saying thank you for sharing, Rosemary. You're a real pioneer on this, and they've been very generous with what you're learning. Yeah, go ahead, Christina, then Ian.
Rosemary showed me how to do what she just showed you with the FAQs, which I did while we were sitting next to each other at GAI World, and my graph looks just like her graph.
All right. Go ahead, Ian.
Rosemary, is that hitting the ChatGPT API, and is there a cost anytime a user does a search to that, or is that just part of your subscription?
Are you talking about Alden's tool?
Yeah.
Alden, how about if you answer that?
Yeah, we got the tool originator on the line.
So that requires a custom GPT subscription, and like it's $100 for small businesses. There's a small plan for about 1,000 queries.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
and at the back end, yeah, it is RAG, it is using Pinecone, it is using the OpenAI API, and we maintain the entire system.
But I'll make sure I'm saying this correctly. It's basically using RAG from my website and what other information I upload either to a chatbot or that search box on my external website. Is that?
That is correct. It's
That
taking
is-
all the information from your website and making sure it's always in sync,
Yeah.
and then it vectorizes it, it puts it in Pinecone, and then it gives you that beautiful
Yeah.
deployment option.
And one of the things we use it today. Sorry.
Oh, and that's $100 a month for 1,000 questions, or
That's right.
what happens when you go over? Is it gonna just start billing you? Because
No, it just blocks you.
okay, all right.
Yeah. And there are other plans like, there's a $500 plan, and then there is enterprise people who want 1 million queries and all that. That's a different.
And I think every website is going to have this because so much content is undiscoverable, right? And this is the only way to get your content discoverable, because the old way we used to do it with keywords, was just horrible results.
Right. And Rosemary, I haven't broken record on this. I mean, I tell all these companies here, this is a zero risk, low cost project for every company. Go get this for $100, $500, $1,000. Ask ChatGPT, come up with the questions, stick it in there. And then the other thing that our team does, I think, I know Alden, you told us something, that we have an Excel spreadsheet that just says question and answer that we upload into the Brain or RAG. So if someone comes to our website and on our conference website, and I saw our tickets still available, when we sold out, we just went to that spreadsheet, right, as a technical question, are the tickets available, and put no, and re-uploaded that into the custom GPT RAG system, and then instantly the robot is smarter on the thing here. And it's a great way for these companies to learn how these things work here. So, but I think less than 1% companies have LLM-based chatbots and searches on the website.
Correct. And one of the recent, influx that we are having is people wanting to have this ready in time for Thanksgiving, because this Thanksgiving, if customers are coming to your website and you don't have a fantastic chat experience, sales are going to suffer. Because if the big difference between last Thanksgiving and this Thanksgiving is the chat GPT effect, nobody's got time to browse blue links and spend tons of time. So they are expecting on the website also to have quick AI experiences.
And Alden, you're saying Thanksgiving because it's the Black Friday or
Black
Friday
Friday.
or whatever that
Yeah.
shopping day is after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Not
the
so much a
shopping,
turkey
the
day.
big
Yeah.
shopping day.
Yes.
Black Friday is for e-commerce stores. It's like almost half of their revenue sometimes.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
You're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that notion of, the chat experience. The other thing is, coming out the AI Realize conference, the conversation about we've been talking about now is really text and some pictures, but we've been reviewing in the daily news even today these basically unbelievably good search engines for not only pictures and movies, but what the intent in the scene is, and events within a video. Just unbelievable. It's going to be available. So when you think of these chatbots, historically we've had them so siloed, right? This is going to be videos, it's going to be pictures, it's going to be illustrations. It's just and it's happening now. The other thing I would just remind us all is just how big the money is that's behind this, which is the US digital advertising budget is estimated about $1 trillion on a $30 trillion base, right? And so, I mean, sorry, about 1% on a $30 trillion base, so about 350 billion. And that's going to get rerouted through these answer engines, right? I mean, right now it's holding up the consumer internet, but it's going to be a lot of money, and so it's going to happen fast, I think.
That's really good. Thanks, John. We got just 5 or 8 minutes here. Let's open it to open mic. Do people want to share other things or questions or contributions? Yeah, go ahead, Alden.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Rosemary because that simple technique of putting FAQs on your homepage, that really works. And we have now validated that after we read Rosemary's LinkedIn post, right? Previously, what we used to have is I had like 100 stupid FAQ questions, like, just variations of the same FAQ question asked different way because I was trying to please Google. And now we've just reduced it to about 20 questions that are just the semantic questions that are most important to our business. And it's had like an immediate effect. I've been told by my marketing that November and October have been like fantastic for AEO. And we are receiving like a lot more traffic from ChatGPT. For us, AEO is now our number one priority. Like every marketing conversation starts with AEO.
Hmm. That's a quite statement, Alden. Yeah, and you're pretty dependent on the internet for your leads, right? Isn't that your main source? One of your
That's
main
the only
sources?
source.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the only
like
source.
yeah. There's no other way to do business with us other than coming to our website.
Yeah. And before we go to Raymond here, and then for our website, I was all happy. We got 15 questions. And I said, Rosemary, look, we got 15 questions. And Rosemary said, that's kind of cute, Paul. And she went through and she analyzed the questions, and they were like, kindergarten quality questions. So there's even a quality
You're
measure
dropping.
in the questions here, but it was a good start. Go ahead, Raymond.
Oh, hi guys. Hi everyone. Yeah, can I share my screen for a second?
Please, go ahead.
Let's see here.
It's a green button. Yeah.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I guess about an hour and a half ago, I was on LinkedIn and somebody posted a Google Colab on how to how to check like, AEO monitoring on your information. And so I took that Google Colab and then I exported it as as a Python file, and then used Claude and converted it to a Streamlit app. And so now I have this app, so I just wanted to see if it worked. And I'm using these different, I have a choice of models here,
Yeah.
and then I can track various domains. So I tried GAI Insights and put in some keywords. And it gave me some information, it gave me these responses. I don't know what all this stuff is. I'm just like playing around with it and
Yeah.
seeing what's possible. but you know, I'm more of a like a tinkerer, you know. So I was like, okay, that's the purple's got to go, you know. And then I switch over to black, and then you know maybe I'll do a white one, you know, for those staid customers or whatever. But if anybody's interested in this kind of stuff, you know, just let me know, because I'm always doing this. Took me about an hour and a half, I think. I did this, you know, and so it's a lot of fun. I just love AI, man. There's no two ways about it.
Raymond, could you
We're
put
gonna have to
that
get you a
into a
shirt, Ray.
GPT and share it?
Pardon?
Could you put that into a GPT and share it?
This isn't GPT. I can drop it. I can drop it on GitHub.
That'd be great.
Yeah, you could probably recreate something similar in GPT, but keep in mind, you're going to need an open router API key. That's how you're able to access these various models, and also a post hog API key, which you know goes out and traces everything. But yeah, I'll put some instructions. I'll put it on GitHub. I'll send it out to you guys.
Raymond, thank you so much. You're really exemplifying the spirit of learning and sharing as well, this company. So thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Alexander.
Hey everyone. I just wanted to first say thank you to Christina because the AI Realize conference was really nice and I enjoyed a lot of the panels. So yeah, definitely thank you for that. And then also I want to kind of make you aware of there's a new creative tool. Well, it's been out apparently for a while. I wasn't really too privy to it, but a lot of like heavy hitters like Nike and a couple of other creative agencies are using it. It's called Flora Labs, and it's like an infinite canvas, and you can basically like connect pieces of your work together with each other. It's pretty impressive, and you can switch in and out between the models. So you can use a Flux, you can use GPT-5. It's really useful for like creative work. So yeah, take a look. I'm just starting now to get deep dive into it, but it's pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Alexander, any other tools that you've been impressed with?
Yeah, I just got into, I haven't done a deep dive yet into K2 or into Kimi 2.
Yeah.
But it's been, I think it's on par with those, with the rest of the models. And then, that's probably I could think of as well. But I will say that one thing that has been interesting and kind of changed my mind shift was an article by Jack Clark. It came out a couple weeks ago from Anthropic, and it kind of shows like the optimistic side of AI and the kind of realistic pessimism of AI, and it kind of got my mind moving when it comes to AI. So yeah.
And you're moving more towards the pessimism side or optimism?
No, I think that we're going. Actually, I think that we're going to have a little bit of a. I feel like a lot of this AI kind of trajectory is going to mimic what was part of like the .com era. It's going to be, we're going to have like a down period after this year, and then it's going to come right back up, and then that's where it's going to, everything is going to explode. That's just my personal opinion.
That's great. Thank you. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll finish up with David. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I don't have this question as quite as clear as I'd like it, but the flavor you'll get immediately. What do people think about consumers having agents that are working for them, where the question of having your website structured in a certain way becomes much less important because the agent is doing all the work from the consumer side. So it's sort of C to B as opposed to B to C. And again, I have not articulated quite what I'm asking well enough, but maybe someone has some thoughts on it nevertheless.
I think it's inevitable, David. Yeah, go ahead. Alex, you want on this one and another question, Alex?
Yeah, on this one, I
Okay.
think that's going to be the future when agents are going to talk to agents. So you have your own agent on your mobile, obviously, very soon, and this agent is going to talk to the APIs of, Google Ads, Meta Ads, and the brands basically,
And,
and it's going to
and,
figure out what's the best for you.
and if that happens, though, I agree with you. If that happens, how much does it matter anymore how the website is structured? That's sort of what I'm curious about.
I mean, aren't you
I
gonna have to do
don't answer
both?
this question.
Because humans will go to it, or there'll be some subset of the human part?
Yeah.
Well, I think, David, findability will still be an issue on the agents.
Right.
So I think
Right.
there'll be competing sites. There'll be easy and low find. There'll be timed out issues. Do these agents find two websites and compare and pick one? I think there's probably a whole nother
Got it. So in some
Yeah.
sense, it doesn't really matter. It's always going to be this joint thing, whether it's an agent or a human looking around, probably to some
I do
degree.
it, and I think 5 years from now, we're going to see 80% of the internet's going to be AI content. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I would agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, go ahead, John, and then Ian, then we'll finish up.
Yeah, the it's interesting on that last question, David. I imagine I think the conception of basically storage and access to it, which is still the internet, right? I mean, I'm going to go to a website, I'm going to grab stuff and bring it back. I think that's going to change to something that's much more biological. Like, think about like how signals pass in your blood and throughout your body. I mean, I think the context is going to be super active. And, so I don't think it'd be an idea of a website. I think there'll be webs of connections that have influence and are sensing demand, supply, cyber crime opportunity. You know what I mean? It's going to be, I think, much more like that than and a website will be think of a website as a gland or a tumor, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you will, like
Or a
that's
node, maybe
it's
a
a
node.
collection,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank
John,
you.
that's really interesting. So it's like a metadata on a transaction that's moving around for security or a whole bunch of other.
or biologically, there's
Yeah.
so many signals that are sent so many ways, right? Nerve ways, fluid ways, chemically, huh?
Another thing this brings up is science up to this point has always grossly oversimplified reality to be able to
Yeah.
comment at all. And that's changing a bit, which is interesting in the way
Yeah,
you're
I was
talking.
talking about absolutely, David. I was talking to a guy at Google, and anyway, I'm not a mathematician. He is. He's like, whatever, you know, genius mathematician at 12 kind of dude. And he's at Google now. He's working on a bunch of the image stuff. And he thinks that I said, look, my intuition is that matrix math is a flexible enough semantic structure that we should be able to grok across different data types, easily. My blood pressure, my heart rate, my EKG, my electrocardiogram, like the whole routine, right? And he said, yeah, absolutely. He said the folks at Google now think that think of it as a topology of semantics, and that you can have any data types in there and you can search that topology. And they think they can describe all the observable universe in that model. And what are we going to discover? And then to your point, not only can we record it and analyze it, but then we're opening up the bandwidth of cognition so we can look at a shitload of it in really complex ways. And by the way, that's all happening in nanotime, so it evolves 1 billion times faster than human time. That gets pretty heady pretty quick,
And John, Stephen Wolfram's taking that even further by talking about then what's the observer's influence in a time
Right.
space continuum.
Yeah. I mean, are we, will AI eventually be a quantum phenomena that as we probe it, it collapses around our semantic need? Who the hell knows, right? I don't even know how to think about that, but whatever.
Great. Last one, Ian, take us home here. Last question.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the question, and I think it's going to be more like a JSON file that the website accesses, and it's on your browser. And then that JSON file is going to have specifications like your favorite celebrity, what type of content you want to see, and the website on your Chrome browser or other browser is going to render that automatically for you based on your likes and dislikes. So you wouldn't necessarily, as a web designer or a web developer, develop anything at all. You would just write the instructions. And then on the user's computer, that would be another set of instructions that says, I like these celebrities, I like these types of products, I want to be marketed in this way. And then the website or document will then build itself on the fly right in real time.
It's good. Fantastic learning
Interesting.
lab, everyone. Thank you for everyone's contributions. Please, thank you. Bring others and please contribute to this learning. It's all about learning, and learning is new oil, and you guys are great. Thank you, everyone.